All your favorite wrestling shows rolled into one. Welcome to the We Book It podcast. Let's start the show.
Do you love mass chaos? Do you love uncertainty? Do you appreciate when superstars go back and forth? If you do, then you would have enjoyed this week's episode of NXT. Why? Because you got all that and then some. Guys, this week's edition of NXT comes to you live from the Madison Square Garden Theater. That's right. Alongside Madison Square Garden Arena, they did it at the theater there on the side of it. And again, this whole episode was dedicated to the go home show for Stand and Deliver. My name is Virgil. I'm your future Book It World Champion. I am excited to be here with tonight talking who's next with NXT with you guys. I'm going to give you guys the breakdown, synopsis, and the match set up for the upcoming episode of Stand and Deliver this weekend, guys. Stand and Deliver is this weekend. That's right. They moved it from WrestleMania weekend to this weekend. And I'm excited, man. I'm super excited to see what they bring to the table this time for Stand and Deliver. You got some really good matches, but you also have some really good matches on this episode of NXT. Now, this week's episode of NXT, the final show before Stand and Deliver happened this week, and it took place at the famous Madison Square Garden Theater in New York City. The action got started with an NXT TNA collaboration as Mike Santana teamed with OTM to take on Dark State. This was Santana's first match on NXT TV since October. As overall, we haven't seen the company tied into the Tuesday night brand's programming too much in recent weeks. Santana also got a good reaction when he came out to the hometown crowd during his entrance. Bronco Nima, to start the match, was isolated by Dark State and teased the hot tag for a long time. Then he tagged in Santana during commercials, but since the referee was distracted and didn't see the tag, he deemed that Nima was still the legal man. I hate when that happens. That is so annoying on every level for me. I don't know. Anyways, Lucian Price had a fun hot tag run, which put over his size. He tossed Saquon Sugars at Dion Lennox. What the hell are these damn names, dude? These NXT names. I get it, WWE. You guys are running out of names and stuff like that, but some of these names are stupid. I ain't gonna lie. Saquon Sugars sounds crazy. Anyways, he tossed Saquon Sugars at Dion Lennox, then took down the similarly towering Osiris Griffin with ease. Santana was next to get a hot tag. He hit Lennox with a rolling buck 50, took out the other two Dark State members with the top suicider to the outside, then came off the top rope with a frog splash to Lennox. This didn't end the match, which shocked the live New York crowd. Griffin helped Lennox avoid a splash in the corner from Santana. All three Dark State members hit the ring for a triple team power bomb, shield power bomb. Let's call it what it is, right? A shield power bomb. But then after that, OTM came out and brawled at ringside with Griffin and Lennox. In the ring, Santana caught a move from Sugars for a Death Valley driver. He scored his spin the block lariat, then took out the other two members at ringside with another dive. OTM scored their double team slam finisher to Sugars to win the match in 11 minutes. Again, this was a fun opener. But at the same time, like I said, it was just one of those things where I feel like, definitely could have had some better matches, some better moments in there. But again, this was your winner, OTM, pulling out the victory over Dark State. Dark State started out, y'all, with a lot of momentum in NXT, and I feel like they've kind of lost their luster a little bit with what they've been doing. So again, it's just hard to say that you enjoyed what Dark State has been doing so far. Again, they just give you Shield vibes because they wear all black and everything like that. But at the same time, I don't think they have the cachet that Shield has. Next up, we'll do in a pre-tape interview, NXT North American champion Miles Bourne was asked what type of Johnny Gargano he expects to see on Saturday. The dejected, defeated Gargano that has appeared in recent weeks, or will he see Johnny wrestling? He said he hopes it's the latter that shows up. Gargano came into the interview room and went face to face with Bourne and said the champ should be careful what he wishes for. He explained that he believes this title match is how he can finally get his life back. That guy is still somewhere in here, Gargano said about his old self. And you better pray I don't find him on this Saturday, because if I do, I will eat you alive. Woo! Little Timo Randy Orton better be scared. He explained that facing Bourne isn't personal for him, but regaining that championship is. I know Gargano's current gimmick and appearance last week were very divisive online, with a lot of people strongly rejecting it. But I thought this segment was a good way to sell the match. This was absolutely a way to get people excited about Gargano versus Bourne. And it looks like we might get Johnny Wrestling back this weekend. Let me know in the comments what you guys think. Do you think we'll get Johnny Wrestling back? Next up, the next challengers for the NXT Tag Team Championships were determined in the next match as the Monday Night Raw duo of Bravo and Rayo Americano took on Stacks and Uriah Connors of Birthright. Lexis King, who was off TV last week, was in Birthright Corner for this one, along with Charlie Dempsey and Ariana Grace. The New York crowd was quite strongly behind Los Americanos. These guys, it's crazy how the crowd is turning the Los Americanos, especially Grande Americano, into baby faces just so hard. So Bravo was on the roll late, delivering his airplane spin to Stacks. He climbed to the top for a move, but was knocked down by King. The referee was distracted by Grace, allowing King to get the shot in. Just moments later, Shiloh Hill appeared from the crowd and chased away the Birthright posse at ringside with the steel chair. Then Ryo gave Stacks a Hurricane out of the corner, and Bravo followed up with a top rope frog splash, but Connors got in the ring to break up the pin attempt. Then Stacks gave Ryo a nasty top suicider at ringside as Connors hit a frog splash of his own to Bravo, but Bravo kicked out at 2. It was at this point that El Grande Americano appeared on the ring apron to distract the referee. Let me tell y'all something. One of the loudest pops of the night was seeing El Grande Americano right then and there. He got one of the loudest pops of the night right there. So, like they do in every match, Los Americanos loaded up their masks with metal plates as the referee was looking away. Bravo came running off the ropes with a flying headbutt to Connors to earn the pinfall victory in 10 minutes. Los Americanos will face the Vanity Project for the NXT tag titles at Stand and Deliver this weekend. And if I had to guess, I would tell you that they're probably going to win too. The metal plate finish was kind of stale a long time ago, but again, I think, like I said, it's still working for them a little bit. So we'll see what they do. I do expect them to win the NXT tag titles at NXT's biggest PLE of the year, which, by the way, don't forget, a Stand and Deliver is just on YouTube. So you don't, like I said, as long as you tune into YouTube, you should be able to watch Stand and Deliver. It's really weird that the NXT's biggest pay-per-view will not be PLE will not be on Peacock or on anything NBC related. It will be on a part of this. So I really would have thought WWE would have been able to sign a deal with USA or something like that to maybe get them to show at least NXT Stand and Deliver on there. But hey, I mean, it is what it is, right? Next up, Jada Parker and Kaylani Jordan, singles action with these two rivals. Jordan shows some aggression early, trapping Parker's head under the ring apron before unloading with a series of punches. Then Parker started to mount a comeback after a commercial break, escaping a move from Jordan with a back body drop. Parker picked up some steam with a pair of shoulder tackles, followed by a lariat. She draped Jordan in the corner and scored her high-step hip attack, but after she turned around from celebrating, Jordan answered back with a front kick. Jordan took down Parker and tried to apply an arm lock, but Parker escaped by trying for a pin attempt. Jordan climbed to the top rope and connected with a 5-star frog splash for a near fall. Jordan looked for her split-legged moonsault, but Parker stopped her from coming down with the move. Parker joined Jordan on the top rope for a brutal avalanche German suplex. She then scored a hypnotic, then a powerbomb for the win in 9 minutes. Again, this match right here was just an enjoyable match. These two women have so much good chemistry. Again, I would love to see both of them maybe sometime next year called up to the main roster, maybe even as a tag team, and see what they could do in WWE on the main roster. All right. So next up, we had Stand and Deliver's main event meeting and a contract signing. So Joe Hendry, Ethan Page, Ricky Saints, and Tony D'Angelo all made their appearance in the ring. Hendry was the first to talk, mentioning that he can't wait to see who will be the backstabber when the fall friendship of Page and Saints falls apart this weekend. Saints declared that he's going to become a two-time NXT champion. Page immediately followed up by saying he's actually going to be the one to win the match. And then Saints says, well, it's actually going to be me. All right, enough, D'Angelo said, finally getting into discussion. He called Saints an absolute underwhelming failure. And he said Hendry is only good at going viral. Same talking point Saints used on him a few weeks ago. D'Angelo claimed he's going to run all over all three of them like a freight train this weekend. D'Angelo told NXT general manager Andre Stone to get out of the ring, then started a brawl. Hendry and Saints got put through tables, causing the two standing men, D'Angelo and Page, to start trading fists as the segment came to an end. So, again, I don't know if it was meant to be that way, but it just feels like Tony D'Angelo is a overshadowed part of this feud. This guy got no reaction during his entrance. He was initially a boo when he cut off Page and Saints argument, which is what everybody really cares about. They're the two hottest parts of this. Everybody wants to see what happens with Ricky Saints and Ethan Page. But people simply don't care about his presence as much in NXT, which really sucks for him because he's working his butt off to try to be the best version of himself, to revamp his character. He's no longer the Don. He's no longer talking like this anymore, and he's still, like I said, giving you guys the best he has, but it's just not resonating, man. And I really don't know what they could do to help him. So we'll just have to see what happens. Next up, Josh Briggs gets involved in the NXT big man drama. So the co-main event saw two giants, Keanu Carver and Jasper Troy, face off in a long-awaited grudge match. Josh Briggs was the special guest referee for this match, as all of the NXT referees claimed it would be too unsafe to oversee this match. Carver got the jump on Troy, attacking him at ringside before the match was officially underway. Then Carver sent Troy into the steel steps. Troy battled back using his chain to yank Carver at him for a nasty lariat. The match went into the ring and got started after that. Carver went to the ringside early in this match, hoping to harass Troy, mentor Booker T once again. This trash talk distracted him and allowed Troy to pick him up for a choke slam through the commentary table. Back in the ring, Troy hit a black hole slam, but it wasn't enough. Troy got in the face of Briggs, complaining about the kick out. Briggs was shoved by Troy and responded by dropping him with a front kick. Carver capitalized on this mid-match drama, scoring a pounce onto Troy, then a power slam for the win. This match ended up being much shorter than we thought it was going to be, but these are two heavyweight big men, and it didn't need to be super long, so I'm thankful that it wasn't. Carver wouldn't let Briggs leave the ring until he raised his arm. Briggs clearly had a short temper tonight as he wiped out Carver with the lariat to end the segment. You guys can all probably guess that this is leading to a triple threat match between these guys here in the near future, which I'm not mad about at all. Elio LaFleur announced in a backstage segment that he's relinquishing the WWE Speed Championship as he expected to be out for 6 months with a shoulder injury. And I just said the Speed Championship, didn't I? Didn't I say the Speed title? Well, if I said the Speed title, then I gotta show the Speed title, don't I? Look at it. This is the championship that he just relinquished. Look at that beautiful WWE Speed Championship. Look at that. Isn't it gorgeous? Isn't it glorious? All right, now it's time for the main event to find out who is going to be the number one contender for the NXT, for the women's NXT championship. So but before that, we got Tatum Paxley, and Blake Monroe. So the next segment saw an NXT North American champion, Tatum Paxley, come to the ring to talk. She was without her title, which was stolen by Blake Monroe last Tuesday. Paxley politely asked Monroe to come to the ring and bring back her title. Monroe came out with the belt and said it just feels right to keep it in her hands. Paxley said that she has something that Monroe wants in exchange of getting the title back. Monroe was skeptical until Paxley revealed that she had a spot on Stand and Deliver and could choose to challenge Monroe. Wouldn't you just hate it if you had to sit at home and just watch Stand and Deliver? Paxley said. Monroe accepted the offer. Immediately after taking the match, she dressed down Paxley, saying they are not the same. You look like you belong in the crowd with these dirty New Yorkers, Monroe said, for some cheap heat. I get this. I get that there's a side of you that comes out when you get it really angry, but there's an even worse side to me, Paxley said before demanding that she get her title back tonight. So this confrontation ended up, as you can probably guess, with a brawl, because what's the title for tonight? Mass Chaos. Monroe got knocked out of the ring with a Pele kick, but Monroe got up to her feet quickly and snatched the title out of the ring. So Paxley is still without her gold. She will not be making her NXT Stand and Deliver entrance with championship gold, which is really weird. Robert Stone announced that Keanu Carver, Jasper Troy, and Josh Briggs will face off next week. Stone heard a brawl nearby and saw that Kaylani Jordan had just attacked Jada Parker. Then after that, we saw the package detailing the feud between Zaria and Sol Ruca, who will face off at Stand and Deliver. Between a pair of commercial breaks and this video package, there was a long period in between in-ring segments here. But now it's time for the main event that saw recent Evolve call-up Kendall Gray and Lola Vice battle it out in a number one contenders match for the NXT Women's Championship number one contenders match. So this was the segment I was most looking forward to of the night, because I knew these two women were going to deliver. And listen, they did exactly that. They delivered. There was a bunch of action. And the champ JC Jane and the rest of Fatal Influence showed up nearby during the match. Gray avoided a hip attack from Vice against the steel steps at ringside, getting her back into the fight. Gray literally fought her way back into this match multiple times. These guys went back and forth. And the highlight of the match, obviously, was the end of the match. Gray worked her back up to her feet and hit a Northern Light suplex for the pinfall win. But at the same time, she seemingly tapped out and submitted to the hold while going for the pin. So the broadcast really didn't catch this at first, but they showed numerous replays. After the match, a second referee rolled into the ring and stated that he saw Gray tap out due to the choke. So we had a bunch of drama right there in that segment. The show actually ended with our thumbnail for tonight, which was Shawn Michaels coming down to the ring and joining in the argument with the referees and wrestlers as the show came to a close. So will Jane face Gray at Stand and Deliver, or will she face Vice? I would tell you guys, venture to say from my vote, that it's going to be that she faces both of them in a triple threat match, and she probably will lose her championship. I could totally see them trying to put that championship on Kendall Gray that night. That was your episode, though, of NXT for this week. Make sure that you guys tune in. Do not miss out. Tune in to Stand and Deliver. It's on YouTube. You guys cannot miss it. It's going to be an extravagant time. I'm looking forward to it. I'll be watching, tuning in this weekend. Make sure that you guys are too. Make sure that you like, share, and subscribe to the We Book It podcast, guys. Like I said, we have Who's Next to NXT. We have Raw Dog Monday night. We have Wednesday night AEW recap, All Elite recap. We also have Friday night SmackDown, Lowdown, Hoedown, Mowdown, Towdown, Throwdown. As well as we do our Sunday Stunner episode too. So there's so much action happening in the wrestling world, and we cover it all right here on the We Book It podcast. So until next time, I've been your host, the future Book It World Champion, Virgil. Make sure that you guys keep those booking pencils sharp. Keep on booking.